Nice job, Steve Nash.
He is some player. He is some basketball player.
By Diaw. That triggers the rush the other way by Nash. Oh, what a pass. Yeah!
Wait, Nash goes. This is 3 for the tie. Good! Steve Nash!
Steve Nash is one of my favorite point guards to watch because his basketball IQ was off the charts. He could read defenses like a book and always seemed to be 2 steps ahead. What made him even more dangerous was how insanely efficient he was as a shooter. He's one of the few players in NBA history to join the 50-40-90 club, and he did it 4 times, which is just crazy. That means he shot over 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. Basically automatic from anywhere. But what really set him apart was his playmaking. Nash had a ridiculous ability to find the open man, no matter how tight the window was. His passes were smooth, creative, and always right on time. He made the game easier for everyone around him. He wasn't the fastest guy on the court, but his handles, body control, and change of pace made him super hard to guard. He could keep his dribble alive forever and wait until the exact right moment to make a move. On top of all that, he led the 7 seconds or less Suns team that pretty much changed how basketball is played today. Fast pace, high scoring, tons of spacing. That was all Nash running the show before it became the league norm. A prime Steve Nash will be a perfect fit in today's NBA. Honestly, he might be even more dangerous in today's game. With the modern league built around spacing, shooting, and fast decision making, everything plays right into his strengths. He was already elite in those areas back then, and in today's pace and space era, he'll be unstoppable. And don't forget how tough he was. The dude played through injuries, got his nose busted open in a playoff game, and still came back to keep dishing dimes. He was a leader, a competitor, and a guy you could always count on in clutch moments. At the end of the day, Steve Nash wasn't just one of the best point guards ever. He was the kind of player who made everyone around him better and made the game more beautiful to watch. So I'm going to show you a collection of NBA legends and players explaining how special Steve Nash was. Enjoy the video, man.
It all started with him trying to prove himself, trying to make it, trying to get better every year.
An incredible play by Steve Nash.
His court vision was next to no other. Sometimes in traffic, you think it's impossible that he sees that guy and he still hits the cutter with an incredible pass.
Nash blows by Anderson. Oh, what a wraparound to Dirk!
I just don't think anybody really knew what he was capable of by having the ball and literally orchestrating the entire offense. I think you'll be hard-pressed to find another player of that caliber. He's one of the best point guards we've ever had.
My hardest matchups is dudes who are trying to score against me. So like when I used to guard and play against Steve Nash, right? That was my hardest matchup because he was smart enough, and nobody gives him credit. He was smart enough to understand to neutralize me is to go back at me too. So you know that 17 and 12, oh, he didn't do that against me. He's trying to go for 42.
Yeah.
When I had 54, he had 40.
Yeah.
Cause he's like, oh nah, cause we ain't gonna win me sitting here trying to make assists. We're gonna win if I get him tired, because if I don't get him tired, he gonna have all the energy in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
So every time we play Steve Nash, like, hey man, I wanna stop trying to score so he can be a passer, but nah.
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Do you feel like Nash deserved that second MVP over Shaquille O'Neal?
I think what happened was because that second year I was injured, and Nash still was able to propel the team to a 60-win season or 58-win season.
Without his #1 guy.
Without his man, without the leading scorer, leading rebound thing. And so for him to still manage that and still have, you know, I think it was the best record in the NBA at the time, that is a lot to be said. And so I think that's why he was able to win that MVP, that second one, because he was able to like withstand his #1 guy out and still be in the top team in the league.
I had to guard, I got switched out on anybody, but I got switched out on Steve Nash over here. And I thought I had some little win, so I was like, yeah, nigga, let me see it. Right. Like, I want it, let me see it. Right. He was like, oh, word? He licked his finger, back up. I said, oh, shit. Look, I screwed up, right? My little nervous ass screwed up. Hit him on the ass, and it came in, I hit him on that. He fucked the whole shit up because I smacked him on the ass, right?
What would you like to get off your chest?
It was this little good-looking David Beckham little guy running around like a gnat, just passing the ball to people and doing this and doing that. He scored every now and then, but he would always beat me out in the MVP voting. And I'm averaging 28-15 without the free throws. Do you not? And I'm going to the finals every year.
Do you not feel that Steve Nash deserved the award at all? There's not a part of you that says, yes, Steve Nash deserved the award for the following reasons.
Maybe once, but not twice over the easel. Twice, 2 times in a row. He got 2, I got 1, Kobe got 1. Something wrong with that picture.
First person to bust my ass, Steve Nash. I had like a stretch. I had a stretch where I had D Rose, Rondo. Then I went to the West Coast. I had Russ, CP, and Steve Nash. Ooh. And this one, he got run the pick and roll. He always dribble around the baseline. He went 10 for 10 against me. I was like, there's no way in hell he cooking me like this. But yeah, that's the first one that gave me a welcome to the NBA moment for sure.
Did he hit his little signature layout fade?
Yeah, I was mad. I'm contesting. I'm chasing him. I was like, man, I don't even care about scoring right now. I just gotta get a stop.
You and Nash led the league in offensive efficiency every year until 2010 and 11. Nash and Stoudemire led 5 of the top 10 highest offensive rated teams in NBA history.
Yeah, man, it was
crazy.
Oh, you guys, I'm telling you.
When you walked in there, you was worried about getting blown the fuck out.
You guys were hell. You guys were hell.
You was worried about getting blown the fuck out. They'll blow you out, boy.
Right, absolutely. That was the motto. We trying to rest in the fourth quarter. Steve was the ultimate point guard. Yes. You know, you got a lot of point guards now want to score and want to try to.
Point guard your rookie year, who?
Stephon Marbury. Steph was my point guard my rookie year. He was more of a scoring point guard, right? So when Nash came in with all the pieces we had, he fit right in perfectly, right? And so all it took was maybe like 2 or 3 practices. I'm telling him how I like the ball, where I want it, how, you know, and he passed it right to me and I make a move and he see what I can do. Then he just makes sure everybody's in the right spot and the passes are right on the dime, and then we take it from there.
Steve and Stephon Marbury gave me the most problems. Gave me the most problems. I love Stephon Marbury.
You're a big bro.
Yeah, Steve was just a headache because he could do it all.
Without being fast.
Didn't have John Stockton mode. You know what I mean? Just
Smart.
right here, just
smart.
You know what I mean? Just know how to get it done. You know what I mean? Steve was excellent, man.
Chris, what do you remember about the first time you played against Steve?
The first time?
Yeah.
He probably don't remember, but I remember. I couldn't sleep the night before the game.
Such a really?
I'm dead serious.
Really?
Not on that type stuff. Relax. Not on that type. But it was just like this was like the pinnacle of point guards. You know what I mean? So for me, I remember we played in Baton Rouge because the hurricane had hit. We played in Baton Rouge. I was in New Orleans at the time. And I couldn't sleep the night before the game because like I just wanted to kill him. Because he was, you know, how you measure yourself. And I just remember.
2-time MVP in an era with Kobe, Duncan, Shaq. I mean, how does this guy win 2 MVPs? That's how good he was.
Well,
that's how good he made his team.
There's some people who ask that question even today, but continue.
That's how good he made his team. This guy's a 2-time MVP in the era we have Duncan, Shaq, Kobe, Iverson, guys like Tracy McGrady, Garnett.
Paul Pierce.
This guy's a back-to-back MVP. What else can you say? It's unfortunate that run that they had because of the bench clearing.
Right.
Versus the San Antonio Spurs. I believe the Suns would have won the championship that year.
They certainly feel that way.
Tracy, what kind of case can you make to get Steve Nash?
I don't have to make a case. I mean, it's right there in front of you, man. But what I will say is you're talking about a fierce competitor, tough guy. I mean, he was just a master at running that offense under D'Antoni, and him and Amari Stoudemire. Like, he was so difficult to guard because of the players that he played around and just how smart he was with the basketball. Hell of a passer. I think what people don't realize, he was an awesome shooter. Awesome shooter. Knocked down, couldn't leave him open.
Anywhere.
No, not at all. 50, 50, 90 guy, 4 times. Come on, man.
Yeah. Listen, man, I had so many nightmares playing against this guy. I mean, he's one of the best I've ever played against. One of the guys, and there weren't a lot of them, to be honest with you, that I felt a lot of times didn't have an advantage on mentally. Right. I was always trying to be 2-3 steps ahead of a guy, thinking the game a little further out than most of my competitors. Steve was on that level. Right. It was great competing against him. I mean, obviously 2-time MVP. Worked hard again to get there. I mean, his early Dallas years, it was kind of up and down. I can remember them booing him sometimes in that arena at a young age, and you know, he turned out to be one of the greats. And I know to me, when I kind of measure greatness, you talk about how many guys he made better.
Oh, man.
And there's a long list of guys for not only for Steve.
You got a lot of guys paid, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
How was your experience playing with Stevie on the strip? Like,
Amazing, man.
Hey, please talk about it.
Man, you know what? The
man,
first
Stevie.
couple of days playing with Steve, man, I was getting turnovers because he literally just throw the ball this way, and I'm bobbling it. So I'm like, man, I got to run through the lane, you know, not having used to a point guard that's just always passing. So I realized, like, every time I cut, just always look for the ball because he is going to get to you. If you're open, it's going to get to you.
One of my favorite little setups that Steve used to do is like, you know, he always on the fly, always whipping, and we always on the wings and shit. Steve, you come full speed ahead at you and hand that bitch to you to screen your man, and you bucking that. And I'm talking about the way he would do it. He would do it in a way that where you got all the space and everything, and the man gonna have to knock his ass over. Like he even got a couple offensive fouls here and there because the people would be they started to know that he would do that. Bro, first couple times he did that, I was like, damn, like he'd come full speed ahead at you. You kind of like, hold up. Then he hand that bitch to you and step there. You like, damn, okay. Bam. Start hitting that bitch. He said, it's a layup. I said, yo, this boy Stevie, he was sick with it.
It was a lot of fun. Practice was always competitive. And Jason and I started. So every time we would practice, Jason and I'd be on the same team and Steve Nash would be on the other team. Jason and my team and our starting team never beat Steve Nash's team. And this is before he's Steve Nash that everybody knows. Nash is a gym rat. He was competitive, wanted to win, and I thought he was going to push me to become better. And I thought it was a great trio of point guards to learn from the best. So there was no doubt for us that he was going to be a budding superstar. It was just a matter of him getting quality, consistent minutes. And once he got them, the rest was history.
When I seen him play, he was a kid of determination. You know, he would dribble the ball around, all the way around the out of bounds line, come up and make a great pass. I think he was a great playmaker, a great playmaker. And he could shoot the basketball, but the determination for Steve Nash was what I liked about him. He didn't quit.
One time we were playing against Golden State at Golden State. I'm on the bench watching Steve kind of navigate and choreograph this first half, kind of like a symphony. He's like just a maestro right there, just putting the pass. And I'm just sitting there just like, am I really sitting here watching this? Just how he controlled the tempo of the game, it was masterful.
Call him a mad scientist.
Nash inside, he got it, and he got the foul.
Because here's a guy that just took the game of basketball and just played it at a level that was just something you hadn't got a chance to see. Not quick, not fast, but the accuracy of the way he shot the basketball, the free throw percentage, the way he went about it. I would say the one thing I would actually always say about Steve Nash, I didn't like, lick his hands every time he grabbed the basketball. But that was his trademark, to come down and move his hair back and go out there and win basketball games, pushing the basketball. And I've never seen anybody who have a good career and then from the middle of his career go from a good career to the two-time MVP. That's amazing, to take the second half of your career and be a two-time MVP caliber player. We haven't seen that ever, and I don't know if we'll see it again.
What made him so special?
Well, Jared, there's a lot of qualities about Steve. I mean, I think, first of all, his attention to detail, the amount of time and work he put into his craft. Not just the shooting and ball handling, but taking care of his body, eating correctly, really improving, I think, throughout his career as an athlete, and then also maintaining and having longevity throughout his career. So the disciplined approach necessary to not only be successful, to do it over a period of time. And there was question marks about his health, but he was able to prove that not only could he play and be durable, but he could play at a high level.
He was so unselfish, bro. Nash was so unselfish, and he made everybody around us better. He knew at times, you know, Quentin Richardson led the league in three-point makes that year. I led the league in three-point percentage at 48%. Wow. And it was all due to Nash, man. It would be times, you know, we would come down and he'd be like, okay, Q ain't had one in a minute, or Joe ain't had one in a minute. He would make sure, you know, we would get shots. And it's just little stuff like that. I think that's how he ended up becoming a two-time MVP, because he could have scored 25 a night, but he settled for 16 points, 14 assists.
The Shaq one was kind of controversial. Did Steve deserve both of those MVPs?
Man, he did. I'm gonna tell you why, bro. We had a stretch. We had a stretch where he missed like 8 to 10 games. We probably won 1 game, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's how.
That's impact.
That's how important he was to us. Because when we had him on the floor, it was like, you know, we was just blowing teams out left and right. But when he wasn't on the floor, it was like, why is the game so hard? You know what I mean?
So we were playing against the Lakers. This is 2010. During this game, I think Steve gets busted in his nose.
Nash took a shot. Once again, this time to the bridge of the nose.
And Steve looks at me, walks up to me, and is like, hey, Channy, like, what's it look like? And I was like, oh. And he just goes, crunch.
He's trying to rearrange his nose.
And just, like, basically puts it back into place. And I was grossed out. I was like, oh. And he was like, oh, don't worry about it. You know, the adrenaline's going. And I asked him afterwards. He was like, oh, man, I broke this like 3 times playing, you know, rugby or something like that. That dude is, for as tiny as he was one of the strongest, toughest guys I've ever played with.
He was on the bullet for the Stars, and everybody was just trying to catch up with us, man. It was a great start. We went on to, you know, have the best record of the franchise that year.
And when you have a primary ball handler like Steve Nash, who went on to be a 2-time MVP, that's truly what set the table.
The greatness of Steve Nash is measured by how his ability to lead that offense. People assume you can just plug another point guard in and run that offense, and you cannot. So that shows you the greatness of Steve.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and tell me what is your favorite Steve Nash moment. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and until next time.